Hello. How to fill out Form 944 for 2023. We are going to use an example to complete Form 944 Employer Annual Federal Tax Return for 2023, and by the time we are done completing the form, it will look like something like this. Let's get started. So you'll go to IRS website, and on their website irs.gov, you'll tap on their search bar Form 944, and when you scroll down, you download the Form 944, you download the instructions as well. Now that you have the Form 944, the latest version, because we are in 2023 and Form 944 is due, Form 944 is due by the end of January, is due by January 31st. So 10944 for 2023 is due by January 31st of 2024. So you'll have the latest version, the year you want to file for, and you'll have the instruction as well open. And while I suggest you read the instruction and highlight things that you find interesting to work with. So we are going to go to page 6 of the instruction, and they said report dollar to the left of the preprint decimal point and cents to the right of it. Don't round entry to whole dollars. Always show an amount for cents, even if it is 0. Leave blank any data field with a value of 0 except line 9. Enter negative amount using a minus sign if possible, otherwise use parentheses. Enter your name, your EIN, Form 944, and the tax period on all attachments. If you had to add an attachment to the form, they want you to make sure you enter your business name, your EIN, and the form, and the tax period, which is 2023 that you are filing for. So knowing those information, let's get started. And to complete Form 944, you'll need your payroll record. So I will call it payroll spreadsheet because we use spreadsheet for that. But wherever you use, make sure you have your payroll on hand so that it's easy for you to complete. And if you completed the previous year, you'll be able to copy and paste the business information as well. That is easier for you. But if that's your first time doing it, then you'll tap those. So employer, Form 944 for 2023, Employer Annual Federal Tax Return. Form 944, how many times do you file Form 944 in a year? Only one time. It's Annual Federal Tax Return for employers. And on Form 944, you will put pretty much the federal income tax withheld, the Social Security and Medicare taxes withheld on employees, and the employer portion of those. That is what goes on Form 944. It is employer annual federal tax return to report wages, tax withheld on wages, and the employer portion of those taxes, which are Social Security and Medicare. So employer identification number, you make sure you enter the EIN related to the business you are filing for, and your business should only have one EIN number. But if you have more than one, you don't know which one to use, on page probably 3 of the instruction, IRS recommended you call a number. No, I think let's try page 5. Page 5 of Form 944 Instructions for 2023, the IRS recommend you call 800-829-4933 if you have questions related to which EIN number to use. But again, you are expected to have one by business, and you use that EIN related to the business you are filing for. Name, now your trading name, and you look at your EIN application form or the SSA, that's the letter you receive from IRS in their reply to your EIN application. It will have your business legal name on it, or if you save a copy of your EIN application form, the line that you put, the line that said business legal name, you will enter the name that you put on that line, you will enter on this line here that say name, now your trade name. So things that if you are a sole proprietor, it'll be your name, and if so, you can read instructions on that as well. But just know that it is the name that you file EIN application form with. That's why you'll put under name. Trade name, that will be your DBA name. So in this example, we have Liberman Consulting L.L.C as the legal name, and the NASOB as the trade name, the DBA. Address, you put your business location, the address, the city, the state, and the zip code. And then we'll go to part 1 of Form 944. So line 1, wages, tip, and other compensation. That will be a wages paid for the whole year, and I believe it's the calendar year. I'm not sure if I'll be able to find it here, but again, if you have a question related to a line, just scroll in the instruction, scroll to that line to read more about it. But you should be able to find it somewhere in the wages section. So just you can read it more if you are a fiscal year type of business, but I believe it is for the year. But again, I don't know where I read that from. I read so many things that, yeah, sometimes I don't know where I find those informations. But yeah, we are not going to dwell on that. We are going to pull our payroll spreadsheet and get started. So let's open that here. Let me see if I can make this. First, let's make it wide. So we want the total payroll, and I will go to the summary. And by the way, this payroll spreadsheet, you can find it at dinasoap.com, our blog, under free download session. You do not need to enter your email to register or sign in to access it. So we are going to go to the summary report and total wages. And the total wages, you can just use the total section, is 216.56. $216.56. Federal income tax withheld from wages, tip, and other compensation. And we can go to the spreadsheet to see if we've had any federal tax total federal tax income withheld is blank, so we didn't withheld any. So let's go back to the form again. So we leave it blank. Line 2 will remain blank. If you have federal income tax withheld from wages, you'll put it on line 2. So if no wages, tips, or other compensation are subject to Social Security or Medicaid, you'll check box 3 and go to line 5. But because we pay wages and we withheld Social Security, we'll leave line 3 alone. We'll go to line 4. So taxable Social Security wages is going to be the same as the wages, tips, and other compensation. But if you made different type of compensation and some of them are not subject to Social Security, then it'll be good to come to the instruction and read on it to see the type of wages that are not subject to Social Security. And again, if you pay wages past a threshold, you do not withhold Social Security on it. And I believe it's 160,200, but I'm not sure. Yes, 160,200. So if you but however, continue. Yeah, so if you pay one person in the business earn more than 160,200, you'll withhold Social Security, and your business will pay a portion of Social Security as well, up to 160,200 for 2023. And after that, you do not withhold Social Security, and your business does not pay Social Security. So the Medicaid, we'll come back to Medicaid. You'll continue withholding for Medicaid, though. It's just Social Security that has that threshold. So now let's go back to our thing. So in this, and if it is that the taxable, let's say that there is a person that reached that threshold, so that means on your spreadsheet, and this spreadsheet is not designed for that. The payroll spreadsheet that we have, for the free payroll spreadsheet, is not designed for that. But that means the taxable Social Security wages that you'll put here, it is just the portion that is taxable. So if somebody, let's say you, the business owner, made more than 160,200, you'll only put up to 160,200, and all the other employees that you paid that their portion of taxable Social Security wages in column 1. So in this example, none of the wages exceed that threshold. Therefore, we will put the whole amount, 216.56. And they have calculation here. That's the employee and the employer portion. And half of it is to be withheld from the employee, and half of it for the business to pay. So you'll use a calculator, and that will be 216.56 times 0.124, and that's 26.85. So we will enter 26.85, and we bring the calculator to double check our number. Okay. Qualified sick leave, if you have any, you enter, otherwise you leave it alone. And keep in mind, for Social Security, you have a line for wages, you have a line for qualified sick leave pay, and then qualified family leave, so wages. So you will make sure, and again, our free payroll spreadsheet is not quite designed for those, so it only works well if you pay wages. And so if you have those type of wages, it's good to design your spreadsheet to retrieve the type of payment, to have a report, to to track each one of those type of wages that you pay throughout the year. So taxable tips have expired as well. And for sick leave and family leave wages, you only withheld from the employer salary. The business does not pay a portion. That's why you only see half of the tax, the social security tax here. And again, when you go to the instruction, you'll be able to read more on it there as well. And they should be able to tell you who pay for the sick leave and the family leave. You'll be able to read in the instructions, but I believe it's paid by the employer. But again, I'm not going to dwell a lot on that. Let's see here. Yeah, you'll be able to read it on it, but let's continue. In this example, we are going to leave it blank. So now line 4C, taxable Medicaid wages and tip. Here they combine the wages and the tip together, and again in this example is 216.50. You do not put points, you just use the one they have. Now you have the employee portion and the employer portion combined, so each one pay half of this percentage. So we are going to do 216.56 times 0.029. Okay, so 216.56 times 0.029 is $6.28. So $6.28. And Medicaid, where a tax, you withhold Medicaid tax, and your business pay the same portion of Medicaid tax up to $200,000 for 2023. That's the threshold. Past that, when one employer made more than $200,000, you will withhold the regular Medicaid tax. Your business will pay regular Medicaid tax, but your employee, you will withhold an additional Medicaid tax from it. And that's what I was looking for before. Qualified sick leave wages for leave taking, whatever. Okay, aren't subject to employer share of social security, therefore the tax rate of those, yeah, so it's the employee. But again, read the instruction. Let's go to Medicaid. Threshold. And Medicaid should have a threshold where you will pass that, you withhold more additional Medicaid tax from the employee's salary. So when one employee earns more than $200,000, you will withhold an additional 0.9% from that year's wages, that excess. So that means, let's say if you, the business owner, you are making $300 in salary from the business, up to 200, you will pay, with your business will withhold I'm looking for, I think it's like 1.45%. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing it here. The employee portion of the Medicaid tax, 1.45%. You will withhold 1.45% from the first $200,000, and your business will pay 1.45% as well. So the other $100,000 that make it a total wages of $300,000. The other $100,000 you will withhold 1.45% from the employee's wages from that 100,000, and you will withhold 0.9% from that as well. 0.9% from that 100,000 as well, and your business will pay 1.45% on that 100,000. So pretty much on the total $300,000, your business will pay 1.45% on that wages for Medicaid tax. The employee, you will withhold 1.45% on that full 300,000, and you will withhold an additional 0.9% on the salary above 200,000. So in that 300, that's 100,000. So you will withhold an additional 0.9% on that last 100,000. That make up that full 300,000. So it's by employee. So let's go back to the text here. In this, we don't have any employee that earn more than $200,000. Therefore, we leave that line for the blank. So now that we complete the Social Security and Medicaid section, we can bring our payroll spreadsheet to double check our numbers. In fact, I can just hide some so we have total wages 216.56. We have total federal income tax withheld is blank. We have Social Security 2685 and Medicaid 628, and the total should be 3313. So let's work on that. Line 4E, total Social Security and Medicaid tax, and that will be column 2 from 4A to 4D. So we can bring the calculator. 26.85 plus 6.28 is 3313. So 3313. Line 5, total tax before adjustment is the sum of line 2 if you withheld tax from income tax. In this case is 0, and line 4E, and that will be 33.13 in this example. Line 6, current year adjustment is going to be blank, but again it is pretty much adjustment between how much we withheld and how much this calculation gave you. So if due to rounding, the amount you withheld is different from this calculation, then you'll put that adjustment on line 6. But again, they have instructions related to that as well. And what I will suggest as well is when you are completing Form 944, what I like to do is I like to complete the form, leave it, and then complete W2 and W3 with Social Security Administration to make sure my numbers are matching, there is no adjustment to be made, and then I mail Form 944. But like then I can print it out, make a sign, make a record for the business, and then mail to IRS. But this year, Social Security Administration, they have a new way of registering, which can take about 10 to 2 weeks, 10 days to 14 days to complete the registration. Therefore, it's taking time a little bit longer. I just mail the return since I'm making it with payment, and I wanted to make it send it in with the payment this year. But just keep in mind that that's one way to do it, because they are going, IRS will reconcile your W3, which is the total of all your W2s, with the employment tax return that you mail in this case Form 944, to see if those total match your W3. So you want them, W3 is just the W2s that you file with Social Security all combined, the total of them. So you want your total to match what is on the Form 944. So you file W2 with Social Security and you file Form 944 with IRS. But IRS will double check both to make sure they match. So adjustment will be on line 6. In this case, we leave a blank. So total tax after adjustment will be to combine line 5 and line 6. And in this is going to be 33.13. Line F. So if you have business payroll credit to claim, you will file Form 8974. But again, you can read instructions on it and you'll attach it to the form. But we do not have any of those credits to claim. And if you have qualified sick leave pay or family leave pay, then you could complete worksheet at the end of Form 944. I believe you have 2 worksheets. You can complete them to calculate the non-refundable portion and the refundable portion of those credits. If they do not qualify to you, you just leave them blank. And in this example, we do not have any dollar amount for them. Therefore, I'm going to leave them blank and I'm not going to address them either. So line, and again, the instruction have instruction on those have things on non-refundable credits that you can read on, refundable and non-refundable credit that you can read on if it qualifies for your business. So now we are done with page 1 of Form 944. We'll go to page 2. And again, on page 2, you make sure you put your business legal name as the way you enter it on the first page. You put your EIN number exactly the way you have them on the first page. At the top of page 2. Part 1. Line 8G is the total of non-refundable credits, which is line 8A all the way to line 8D. All those non-refundable credits, if you have numbers on those lines, you'll put it on line 8G. You'll total them and they'll go on line 8G. Line 9, total tax after adjustment and non-refundable credit. So you'll take line 7, the total tax after adjustment, and you'll take the minus line 8G. So total tax after adjustment is 3313 minus 0 is 3313. So we'll put 3313. Line 10A, total deposit for this year, including overpayment applied for prior year. So if you make more payment the prior year or if you make deposit during the year and or you have overpayment you want to apply toward this tax return, and those are the overpayment from those specific ones or from prior year, Form 944, you'll enter that amount. So you want to keep those in your record and enter the amount. In this instance, it's just 0. So if you made a deposit, you'll enter line 10A. If you didn't make any, you leave it blank. So we are going to leave it blank. So if you complete the worksheet for credits, the refundable portion of the credits will go on 10D for family leave and qualified sick. Otherwise, you leave it blank. So now you go to line 10F is the total deposits and refundable credits. So you will, line 10F is refundable portion of the credit for, I think we discussed that, right? Refundable. So that is for a specific time frame. So those refundable portion will go on 10F if they qualify for you. In this instance, is 0. So 10H is the total deposit and refundable credit. So you'll take 10A, 10D, 10F. You total them all and it'll go on 10H. In this instance, is $0. Therefore, we leave it blank. And you go to line 11, balance due. So it's the difference between line 9 and 10H. So if line 9 is more than 10H, you owe tax. You'll put the difference on line 11. And in this instance, our 10H is 0. So line 9 is $33.13 minus 0. $33.13 minus 0 is $33.13. So we owe $33.13. We'll put it on line 11. So if your line 10H is more than your line 9, total deposit and refundable credit is that total is more than line 9, total tax after adjustment, IRS owe you money. Therefore, you put that difference on line 12, overpayment. And then you check whether you want them to keep it for you to apply to the next return, or you want them to send you a refund. You will check the refund section. But in this instance, we owe money, therefore we'll put it on the balance due line 11, 3313, and we'll go to part 2 of Form 944 for 2023. So line 13, if line 9 is less than 2,500, you go to part 3. So we'll check that. And line 9 is 3313. Therefore, we check the first box is less than 2,500 and we go to part 3. If your line 9 is more than that, if your line 9 is 2,500 or more, you'll check the second box and you will enter your tax liability for every month. So, but if you are a semi-weekly scheduled depositor or became one because you accumulated $100,000 or more of liability in any day during the deposit period, then you will complete Form 945A instead of this box, and that form will have pretty much daily tax liability for you to complete. And for this payroll spreadsheet, is good if you are a monthly depositor, and we have a video on what qualify you as a semi-weekly depositor or a monthly depositor, and I might link that in the description. But if you are filing Form 944, you could well be a monthly depositor. So, but yeah, and if you are completing the spreadsheet well, and you have to complete the monthly tax liability, you'll be able to pull that from your record and do that, and the total should match line 9. So that means you'll take into consideration the adjustments in some way, but either way, line 9 is total tax after adjustment. So you just make sure, if you are required to complete those, line 13 monthly liability, it will match your line 13, will match total of your line 13 will match your line 9. Total of line 13M will match your line 9. In this example, is less than 2,500. Therefore, we check the first box and we go to part 3. And again, on part 3, you put your business legal name, your business EIN number. Part 3. So if your business is now closed, you leave line 14 alone. But again, if that is related to your business, you can read more about it, because you'll need to add some instructions on who is in charge of those documents up to the close, like who is going to be keeping those documents. You'll want to add that information to the tax return as well. But then we leave line 15, 16 alone as well. But if it's related to your business, please, you can read the instruction and complete them. So line 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, we leave them blank in this instance. But again, if it's related to your business, you complete. If it's not, you leave them blank. Part 4, may we speak with a third-party designee? Do you want IRS to to question any employee of the business or any tax preparer that prepare this form? So if you say yes, then you will complete the information related to it. Otherwise, you just say no. If they have a question, they will contact you directly. So who can sign your form? Let's go to IRS Instructions and let's try page 18 to 19 of IRS Instructions for Form 944 2023. So who can sign your Form 944? If you are a sole proprietor, that will be you, the business owner, that will sign on the sign here section. If you are an LLC tax as an S Corp, you file Form 1120S tax return for your business. The business owner, the president, the vice president, or other principal officer, duly authorized to sign. So if you are an LLC that file partnership tax return Form 1065, members of the LLC that work in the business, they can file, because members that are knowledgeable of the business. So you have a responsible or duly authorized partners, member or officer having knowledge of its affairs, so they can sign. Either one can sign, not all of them. One person will sign. If you are an LLC, a single member LLC, you probably file Schedule C for your business. You, the owner of the LLC or a principal officer, can sign. So now we'll go back to our Form 944, and in this example, I'm just going to lock the cap and I'll enter the name and I'll enter the title of the person, and then I'll enter the person's phone number or the business phone number. So at this point is when you print the document out that you will sign and date it. So if you are a tax preparer and you are preparing for a client that will pay you to prepare this return, then you will complete the paid preparer use only with your name, your signature, and the date you sign after you print the return out. But you enter your tax preparation firm name and address, you the preparer PTN, and the business EIN, the tax preparation firm EIN, phone number, and the address, zip code. And if your tax preparation is a self-employee, you are self-employed, you'll check that box or you leave it blank. If you are completing this form for your own business, you leave the paid preparer use only section alone. For instance, I'm a tax preparer, but our business is now paying me to file Form 944. Therefore, I'm doing it as an employee or an officer of the business. Therefore, I will now complete pay preparer use only section of the form. And again, when you print the document out, you will sign it and date and make another copy for your business. So since we owe $33.13 in this example on line 11, you can either make a deposit or you can pay with the form, and they should have instruction on that. On the different ways you can pay the return. So, but it's not what I'm looking for. You can make a deposit via electronic fund transfer using electronic federal tax payment system, EFTPS. So that's an account you have to create, and you'll be able to make deposits. That's how you make deposits. And or you can pay with the return. There is a rule up to how much you can pay with the return, and we will get to that as well. And I believe is 2,000. If it's less than 2,500, we can pay with the return. But let's go back to the return. So 3313, let's keep that in mind, and let's go to the voucher. Now the tax return is completed. If you are going to pay that via EFTPS using EFT, electronic fund transfer to pay, to make that deposit, then you are done. If you want to pay that 3313 example with the return, then you go to the voucher and complete the voucher. And the voucher has some instructions here. The time you can pay that with the voucher, with the tax return. So if your net on line 9 is 2,500 or more, you already make deposits during the year, for the first, second, or third quarters. Your net tax for the fourth quarter are less than 2,500, and you are paying in full by the due date that the tax is on, then you can do that. I don't like the gray area. I like to go with, can you pay with the return or not area. Let's see this. because the gray area can be a little bit confusing. So if your net on line 9 is less than 2,500 and you are paying in full by the due date is January 31st for the form 944, then yeah, you can make the payment with your 2023 form 944 only if with one of the following applies. So that's that. And in this instance, we fall within this first category, less than 2,500, and we are going to pay that in full by January 31st, 2024. Another option is you are monthly scheduled depositor making a payment in accordance to the accuracy of deposit rule. So in this case, the amount of the payment may be more than that. But again, yeah, I wouldn't like that either. The thing is, if you make deposit, though the monthly, if you are monthly scheduled depositor and you have been making deposit every month, if you owe something, you must well make a deposit for it instead of trying to add a voucher and a check to the form. You can just make a deposit for it. So I will say in this, that will just be the first criteria. If you meet the first criteria, you make a payment with the voucher to the form. Anything else, you just make a deposit. I think we left that part again. But let's see here. I think they should have talked about it a little bit further. But anyway, yeah. If you have been making deposits already, you must well log in and make your deposits for whatever you owe after you file Form 944. Okay. So since we meet the first requirement, our tax is less than 2,500, we are going to complete Form 944 V, and you'll enter the business legal name, the street, the city, the state, the zip code, and the business EIN, and that's it. Now you'll print everything out. You'll cut the Form 99V off of the form. You will attach the first three page. After you sign and make copy for your business, you will staple the first 3 pages. If there is any attachment, you add it to it. But then you'll have the Form 99V as a separate paper, and then you complete the check as a separate as well. We do not attach the Form 949V to the Form 944, and do not attach the check to anything either. So you'll have them. What I like to do is having a small envelope to put the Form 99V in it and put the check in it. And then I'll put that small envelope in a 9x12 envelope. And in that 9x12 envelope, I will put the Form 944, the 3 pages of Form 944 at a staple. I'll put it in that big envelope. And yeah, so that's because those are more like 8.5 by 11 paper, while the check and the voucher are small paper. So I like to put them in a smaller envelope, those 2 pieces in smaller envelope, and put them in the bigger envelope where the Form 944 is. On the check, I like to use check instead of a money order, because on the check there is more space for you to enter the information that needs to go on it. And on that check, you make sure you write the check to United States Treasury. You enter the dollar amount, and you enter your EIN on the check. You enter Form 944 for 2023 on the check. And do not staple the check to Form 99V. Or you do not staple the money order to Form 99V. So you leave Form 944 is a piece on its own. Form 944V is a piece on its own. And the check or money order is a piece on its own as well. So that's 3 different pieces you will put in the envelope and you will mail it. So where do you mail Form 944 with payments? Let's go to page 7. It will start with page 6. So you will first locate your state where your business is located, and you find the column with payments, the address from the column with payment that correspond to that state where your business is, and that is the address you will put on your envelope. In this instance, our business is located in Iowa. Therefore, since we completed Form 944 voucher to include in the envelope, we are going to include a check. We will go with Internal Revenue Service, P.O. Box 932100, Louisville, Kentucky, zip code 4293-2100. That's what we'll put on the envelope, and we will make a copy, or you'll make a copy of the voucher and the check, and you add that to your Form 944 that you make copy of for your business record, to have those for your business record. And then what you are sending to IRS, you put in the envelope and you mail it. They are USPS certified mail, so that you can have a tracking, and you keep that receipt from USPS with your business tax return Form 944 document as well for your business record. And that is that. So if you did not complete Form 944V, if you did not complete Form 944V, I repeat, you did not complete Form 944V because you chose to make a deposit of what you owe on line 11, and you chose to make a deposit via EFTPS. And make a payment or a deposit by electronic fund transfer through your account, EFTPS account, then you do not complete Form 944V, and you will, for the address, you use without a payment address that correspond to the state where your business is located in. And in this example, if you do not want to mail in payment, you'll go with without payment address that correspond to Iowa, and that will be the address going to Ogden that you will use. But since we completed Form 944V, the voucher, that implies we are adding payment. Therefore, we'll go with a payment address. That's where we'll send the return with the payment. Thank you very much for watching. We have on ninasoap.com, we have free download that you can access, and the form that I use, this payroll spreadsheet that I use, it is similar to the free payroll spreadsheet Form 940 B22F2. We do have a few different ones that you can take a look to see which one better suits your need as well. And if you are wondering how to complete a payroll spreadsheet with how to complete your payroll spreadsheet with payroll information, let's see if we can download this one and give it a try. And I personally like the other one because it's good for Form 944, but it does not give you the information for Form 940 unemployment tax return. So this one is a lot more complete. And we do not want it in a protected view though. Let's see. Okay, 80 copy. Depending on what browser you are using, you can don't want to sign in. You can get into a few challenges here. Is it opening it as a browser? But anyway, let's just use one here to work with. So let's say it's quarter 4, so this one has multiple quarters, and let's just enter a date here. Let's put 11 AD. Okay, so I'm finding it annoying here. Let's get back out of here and let's go to our download to see if we have it in the download. Okay, so we are going to complete quarter 4, and we can just assume the person was paid on, I don't know, at the end of November, and I can just put a LIB, why not? And then the second person, JLIB. So $100 was the net. So I like to go CK. So I know that the person is going to take home $100. So I will goal, seek that $100. What is going on here? $100. Oh, $100, and then I will click on salary or other compensation. That's where it will go. I will put it there. I'll click that and it will give me what that is going to be based on. I'll click OK. Based on those, that implies that I know that I'm not going to withhold federal tax return. But if you know how much you are going to pay the person, how much you, the business owner, is going to earn, the gross, you can go with that as well. 108.28. And I'm just going to, this one is not rounded, I'm going to round it. And that, so when you put the salary in, then you can use publication 15T to locate the estimated employment tax income to withhold. And we have a video on how to estimate payroll taxes that I will add it to the video. But let's see if I can quickly access that publication 15. Don't know if I have for it's publication 15T. And that income is less, but you can, yeah, I have a video on that I will list in the description, because it's related to this payroll spreadsheet is designed with this publication 15T in mind. But that's pretty much where you'll come based on how much you want to pay the person, and this is monthly pay period. But if you are going to pretty much what the amount is based on how often you are paying the person, you'll be able to use the tax bracket, the manual payroll system tax bracket for W4 after 2020 to locate the pay, like the amount that is at least but less than, and the selection on the W4 of the person, whether the person selected to be taxed as married, filed jointly, or as a head of household, or as a single, as with standard withholding or checkbox step 2 to be held at a higher tax bracket. You use that to to find the amount to withhold, and that will go on federal income tax session, and in this is going to be blank. Therefore, the spreadsheet will calculate the social security that you will withhold from the employee pay, and the Medicare will withhold from the employee pay. So that will be the total, and the net pay that you will give the employee take home pay. And that will also calculate the employer version of Social Security and Medicare, the total of that, and the total of both employee and employer that you will use to complete Form 944. So I like that because I have the lines of Form 944 that you can match it with as well. And for some reason, let's see what is going on here. So we have it's calculating a for each one, and I think the total is a little bit above. So the total is what you will be using for the form, and then you can use the individual one to complete W2. So I like this simpler version. It works for Form 944, but then it does not really work for FUTA, Form 940. But Again, you have the second version that is more elaborate that will do that. And for this one though, when you are completing it, you'll start with, you pretty much pay attention to the color coded tab. You'll start with the list tab, and you'll complete the staff tab with the person information and what they selected on the W4. And we can go through that quickly as well. So you'll put the person's name and how much you think you'll pay them a year and how often you are going to pay. So in this instance, since we are going to pay only one time, I selected one time for both. And then you have, if the person, the W4 the person gave you has information on those lines, you'll add them. Otherwise, W4 step 1C, if the person chose to be taxed as a single or whatever that is, you'll select that as well. And then you have step 2 box, if the person selected to be taxed, if it is check or if it is not check, you select that. So you use the W4 to complete those on this form. And then if the person on that publication 15T, boss check withholding or standard withholding. So if the boss 2 is not checked, then standard withholding is what you'll use. And we have, if the person is an officer or an employee, and state unemployment tax, if state unemployment tax is going to be, if you are going to pay state unemployment tax or not, you will select that. And based on the selection here, you'll have options to choose from on the federal income tax. And while we are talking about W4, let's see if we have W4 here that we can reference. And W4, so you'll use the W4 to complete that form, and the W4 will have 1C, and that will be where the person will check, and based on that you will see how you want to withhold federal income tax return on that person. That selection is needed. And then step 2, boss 2. So if there is only, let's see here, is it step 2? I think it's step 4. No, not step 4, step 2. Step 2C. So step 2C, do the same on W4 for the other. This option is generally more accurate than B if pay at a lower paying job or more than that. But anyway, so pretty much you want them to withhold more on the tax, then you will check 2C. And again, it helps to choose the session. If the person didn't check that box, the step 2 box, then you use the standard withholding session of the filing status that the person chose on 1C. But if the person check step 2 box, then you will use a step 2 check box withholding colon for that. So it's good to have a W4, a latest version of W4 for yourself and for anyone that is working for you that you are paying on hand. And you can use that if you are using a payroll spreadsheet to pretty much have a record of those information, to use that to guide you to know the right amount you should withhold from their wages. So now that those are done, when you come to the federal income tax, you will select from the name, because the name you enter in the staff section will pop up, and you will select the one you are going to work with. and then you enter the amount you pay them, and automatically you can just go to the blue section will calculate for you. So the one that are now, you will select the pay period, and here is month. I've choose monthly pay, and I choose November, and the pay period from, again, it will come from the staff. What you selected there is it will limit the options for you, but from the staff area you'll have all the options available, and those options are on the list. They come from the list section here. So and then you will select again if 1C, step 1C of W4, what the filing status is, and if the person check box 2 or not, and therefore how you will withhold from them, from their income, and that will help you put a dollar amount here. That's the C publication 15T, and you will use based on how much you pay them, and based on those classification or criteria, you will use that to find the right amount to withhold, and you'll put it on your spreadsheet. And when you put on your spreadsheet, then it will just continue the formula for you, and pretty much the month that the person got paid, the person is an officer, the quarter that the payment is for, and if there is fringe benefits that are exempt from FUTA, you'll enter those as well, and it's pretty much calculating FUTA, having some, collecting some data for FUTA payment as well. I had to say the free version does not, that we have out there, does not have those last column. I think this is a modified version that I work on this month. But yeah, and then you have the information that you need, and when you go to, it will help you to employment tax withheld, and to know how much you pay wages wide total, how much employee Medicaid is, Social Security, and so forth. You can have you can pull a report from the federal income tax. Pretty much your entry will be on list, staff, and federal income tax tab. And something that I didn't point out is not related to Form 944, but is related to unemployment tax. So if you pay state unemployment tax, you select yes here, it will allow you to be qualified for the maximum credit if you think you are qualified for the maximum credit. So it will pull the right numbers for you as well. But we will talk about that when we file Form 940. But then the summary report, you have it by quarter, and you have it by months as well, that you can use to file Form 944, to file Form 941. Both are, Form 941 is quarterly employment tax return for the employer, and Form 944 is annual federal tax return for the employer. And then you have FUTA tax, which is Form 940, federal unemployment tax, and is annual tax return. So, but yeah, so that's how you keep record of payroll to be able to file Form 944, Form 941, and Form 940, and to file W2 and W3 with Social Security Administration. Thank you very much. We thank you very much for watching our videos. Thank you very much for your time. We thank you for all your comments. And thank you very much you all that subscribe to our channel. I'm Afiabi Liberman, creator of Liberman Consulting L.L.C YouTube channel and ninasoup.com, our blog. On our blog, you can find free download session where you can download free templates to manage your finances or to manage your business. We do have federal link to federal tax forms as well that you can access from our blog. And on our blog and on our channel, we share different ways you can save money and different ways you can make money to reach your financial independence, where you do not depend on an employer to provide for your family. And filing Form 944 for your business on your own is a way to keep your business expenses low. Yes, it's time consuming, but at the same time, it allows you to know the right way to pull record for your business, to track record for your business in a way that you can file the return. And every year, it'll be a little easier because you'll have the different information on hand ready to start with. And when you want to delegate that to somebody else to do it for you, you know, or you already know how you should track your payroll record during the year to be able to allow the preparer to file your tax return accurately for you. Because whether it is filed by a third party or yourself, you are responsible of what is on the return because you sign on it. It is for your business. Therefore, yeah, it might take time, but if you can do it by yourself, well, it does save you money, and then you have more control on what you are, how to keep track of your data, your financial data, and have a consistent way of reporting your data, your financial data, your tax data to IRS. Thank you very much. Let me see here. So, how to create business tax return checklist. When you are filing a tax return for your business, first, when you apply for EIN, you register a business with IRS and you apply for EIN number, IRS will send you an SSA number. IRS will send you SSA letter, like a reply to your EIN application, and that will list the different tax return that you will file with IRS. But over time, you know the other tax returns that you need to file based on your situation, that you need to file with your state, that you need to file with IRS, that you need to file with Social Security. But you can start with what is on your federal, the reply you got from federal for from on your EIN letter SSA, and what is on it, chances are you'll file that for the state as well. You can start from that. And what I like to do though is just I like to use a spreadsheet. That's a time log that I have, and you can use a spreadsheet, a Google Sheet, but you can have a column for due dates that those returns are due, the name of those type of returns, the websites you will file them on, and when you file them, you put the date you file them. If you paid an amount, how much you paid. You can even add the confirmation number and pretty much confirmation file location and manual file location and manual file name. I like to do that. And it's good when you are filing those returns, maybe for the second time or so, you can create a manual. Let's see if I have one on hand here. You can create a manual and you add a capture of every stage of the process that you are going through as well. That way, when you are going to file it again, it will be a little easier to find the information you need and how you'll proceed step by step. And for the first time, it's going to take a long time to complete the process because you are writing and you are taking a screenshot of the page, you are adding it to your Word document. It might take a longer to write the manual and complete the form at the same time. But then when you are going to file the form again, it will be faster and easier, save you time, and that's productivity idea here to maximize your productivity. But you have your manual that you can just rely on, because as a business owner, doing a lot of things in your business and filing your business tax return with the state and with federal, there is a lot that you are doing, and having a manual on the processes is kind of easier than to just now have to think for and try to remember how you did it the first time, but just go with what you wrote down, and you can just update it when the website you are working on change things. You can just update your manual as you go as well. But just to give you an example, we have federal. Those are the recent one that I added when I find out that I need to pay a statement on employment tax. I add them there as well. But then you have a quarterly withholding. As an employer, you will have withholding with the state. If the state withhold have income tax, and then so you will add those. And as you complete some, you can just change the color so that you know that you've already completed those. But having the due date, you know that it will change. Therefore, the year next way is not necessary, but you want the date and the month. But the date, the day and the month, and pretty much have a list of those. And you are going to file state W-2. You are going to file the sales tax with the state, with the use tax. With the IRS, you are going to file Form 944 or Form 941. You are going to file Form 940 unemployment tax. You are going to file W-2, W-3 with SSA when you are an employer. And you are going to give W-2 to your staff members. And pretty much having those and how you'll proceed will allow you to just know what you have left to complete. So that's one way. But again, it's not just that I put on this. It's my time log, my work schedule is like a journal for me. And we have a time log that we sell at liberdownload.com. I'll add the website to the video, to the description. But this new version is not there yet. The version there does not have this option, but you can add it to it. But this version is not there yet. It has more tab to it or more sheet to it. But you can add other things to pretty much the return. Not the return, but the sheet as well that you need to, that you don't know that you are going to work on or to pay. You can add them as well. And the second sheet is classify those things that needs to be done by month, if that makes sense. So at the beginning of the month, I can just look to see, okay, so what needs to be done this month, or what needs to be done this month. That way I know that I can be, I can work on it early. But again, this one will put the things that needs to be done within that month in that month, or you can adjust it. But I like this one because it pull all my tax return. I have them together that I can just look, but they both work together. And but yeah, so that means the January will have the different a session of that as well. And but yeah, you can have the website that you need to go to, and when you did it and the pay. And the good things with the pay is when you are creating your annual budget for your business, the fixed budget that you know that those are expenses that you are going to pay for during the year anyway, you already have them listed that you can just work with to know the annual budget, how much you want to have in your account to afford those fixed expenses. So if you have membership, you can add them as well. So but that's why I like the amount. But again, when you don't remember, if you already pay something, you can look at it to say, oh yeah, I already did this, oh yeah, I already did that, or no, I have not done it yet because I didn't complete that section. So that's an example, an idea on how you can create a checklist for your tax return to have not all the tab will be applicable to what you are putting on the things, but for the tax return, the website is good to know. File or paid on, you can have that, the amount paid, the confirmation where you file that document, the manual, if you wrote a manual for it, where the manual is, and the file, the manual name, because when you have multiple and in one folder, it might be good to put the manual name for there as well. That way you know exactly which one you will go with. But yeah, that is just an idea. So thank you so much for watching.